Hello everyone, welcome back once again to mk1 Motoring, and today we're in the Megane and we're actually going to have a look at upgrading some of the audio equipment in here. Now, I'm a big fan of keeping everything sort of OEM. The car's really original. It's got the original radio cassette head unit in here, and I do actually quite like listening to cassette tapes. I know a lot of people, or some of our viewers, may never have even used cassette tapes before, but I want to stick with the original. So one of the jobs, we've actually managed to obtain an upgraded version of the factory head unit from a higher spec car, as the current one only outputs in 2 channels. We've got one that outputs in 4 channels, and that also includes something called Dolby noise reduction. Dolby noise reduction is basically for cassettes, and it reduces that frequency, that hiss sound that you get, that's known from cassette tapes. A few other features such as music search, so that would allow you to skip tracks on a cassette, so it detects the break in audio output between tracks, so it would fast forward the tape and then automatically play the tape again when it gets to the gap in the music. More pressing though is the original factory speakers in this car. We've got 2-way components in the front, so we've got the mid-range component in the doors and the tweeters on the dash top. Now the tweeters don't look to be in too bad condition. The woofers though are completely shot. They've disintegrated around the edge of the cone, and the sound quality, it's just, well, it's quiet and distorted. It's shocking, to be honest. But rather than just do a straight video of me taking one pair of speakers out, putting another one in, I wanted to actually give a bit of an audio test to show a comparison. Now, with YouTube, there is always the issue of copyrighted music, so I've enlisted a little bit of help on this one. I've been kindly supplied with this cassette. So, Tears in the Rain by Villa Rosso featuring Megane McDuffie. And Tony at Red Manor Records has kindly supplied me with this. I'm going to leave some links to Red Manor Records in the description as well, so by all means check that out. Tony will know far more about cassettes than I'll ever know. If you like your synthwave music, Red Manor Records definitely the place to be, because well, as you're probably aware, I don't really do new music, or that noise that my kids would call music. But yeah, definitely some good stuff coming out of Red Manor Records. So, as I say, I'm going to leave a link to that in the description. By all means, check it out, because Tony's really good at what he does, and there's definitely some things. It's definitely worth a look at that one. So, without further ado, let's do a quick demonstration with this tape, and then we'll fit the new equipment and do a comparison afterwards. Now, for the purpose of this test, I'm actually going to try and record the audio on this Sony voice recorder. I'll also be recording it on the phone that I'm using as a camera, but the audio is not always brilliant. If I can sync the audio in after, I will do, just to try and give a better, more accurate comparison. Again, goes without saying, whatever you're listening on at home, you know, if you're listening on a smartphone, it's not going to sound the same as it is on a headphone or on something else. So, this is Tears in the Rain. Pop this one in and just see how it sounds. So that wasn't actually as bad as I was anticipating. I know when I played that cassette on the deck in the house, just by the nature of the tape it's on, you know, it didn't sound that brilliant on the hi-fi, but in here it didn't sound quite as bad as I thought. But to be honest, that was turned up, volume was really cranked up there just to, you know, to get a reasonable level out. The distortion wasn't quite as bad as I had expected, but either way, it still one of these jobs that needs doing. I mean, that speaker's perished nearly all of the way around now. As you can see, all the way around the edge here, it's just completely gone, and the edge all around this woofer, it's gone all sort of sticky and not nice at all. So these are what we've actually purchased for the front of the vehicle. Now, the speakers from the factory are actually 16.5 centimetres, but the problem we've got is Pioneer do actually make the speaker in a 16.5 centimetre, but unfortunately I can't find them anywhere in the UK. Every time I see a set for sale, they're always somewhere else. They do a 17 centimetre, but that won't fit, and I'm not going to start hacking the car up just to fit a larger speaker. So what we've got is a 13 centimetre two-way components, model TSG130C. I presume the C is for component. 250 watt max, but I think the sort of long-term intended output is, I think, around 35-40 watts, which is probably perfectly fine for the system that we've got. I've used Pioneers in the past as well, many years ago, and was always happy with the results. So yeah, we're going to give these a go and see how it works out. So to remove the old speakers, we've got this Torx screwdriver, and quite simple, there's just 4 Torx screws around the edge. T20 out of interest. And you may wonder how we're going to fit a smaller speaker into a hole for a larger one without it simply falling out. Well, we will come onto that in a moment. I've been in so long it didn't want to come out. Oh dear me. And we've got the manufacturer's design of plugs on the back there, which we've actually got some adapters for. Oh, to make them fit, we've got some adapter rings. So we do, new speaker, drops inside. There's actually holes there ready to screw the speaker into that surround, and then the surround in turn has holes all the way around to screw that into the door card. And I've just realised I may actually be able to do this without using the adapter rings. So the adapter ring, the intention was for it to fit around here and then the speaker to fit into that ring, but there's actually a recess with screws in here to take smaller speakers. The only issue could be depth there. And there we go. So we'll take that out, we'll screw that in, plug it all up and see how it sounds. These are the adapters, they're only a couple of quid from eBay a pair. So one end is a plug that should match the manufacturer's plug, and the other end go to the speaker. So we'll give that a try. This end to speaker, this end to manufacturer's plug. And the terminals are different widths as well, so you shouldn't be able to install them the wrong way around. Right, and that should just plug straight into there. Just took all that neatly away behind, out of the way. Quite ingenious really that Renault made it with a housing that they could fit either size speaker into. Although I know the cars without electric windows did actually have a smaller speaker anyway. So now onto tweeters. So again, just pry off these grills. I've got a couple of torque screws in there again, holding everything in place. So we'll get these out and then we'll see how the new ones are going to fit. I know the box actually had some adapters in as well for these. So again, just got this little tab on the back of the clip there. Press that in and release. There's his old factory tweeter. Bit of a size difference between these two, so we'll have to see if the adapter will fit in place. So these ones are supplied with the kit. We just pop those inside. Not quite as we need them to be. So with the tweeters seemingly being in good condition, and the new ones, I think they could be made to fit with a little adaptation, but for now I'm actually going to try them just with the new mid-base drivers, and we'll do a left and right comparison just to see the difference between the new one that I've fitted and the factory one on the other side. So we'll fade this across. So this is the factory speaker. And the new one. Seems to have a much better bass response, even though it's a smaller speaker. Although that could be down to the fact the old one's broken. So I'd say a definite improvement there. So off camera I'm going to switch out the one on the other side. Then we've got the replacement head unit to try it. I'm told it's tested and in working order, but I suppose we won't know for sure until we install that. I've also got a set of two-way 13cm coaxials to go in the back as well. The car is actually pre-wired for those, even though the speakers weren't there from the factory. So I'll catch up with you a bit later and we'll see how we get on with that. So today we're going to have a look at the rear speakers, and this one's we've got again another set of Pioneers. This time a two-way coaxial speaker, again 13cm, and it should actually fit inside these pods up here at the back. There's a recess snuck out there. The wiring's already in place, so hopefully if we remove this this soft fabric cover from the top, we should have a better idea, to see what we're doing. So here's our trusty trim tool, and see if we can get these clips out, hopefully without breaking them. But I imagine they'll probably put up a bit of a fight. It's one intact. One came easy. We're doing so well and all. We broke the last one, which is half in, half out. There we go. Right. Probably the first time this has ever been out with a car. So brute force and ignorance, and we actually managed to get the cover out. So what we've got is these plastic moulded pods. with this removable foam insert, which should in theory be ready to take our speaker. The wiring is, I've seen it from underneath, is all up here somewhere as well. So we've got wiring obviously for the load area light and for the rear wiper. Wires in there ready to accept our speakers. Oh neat, so these just clip out. Presumably this should hold our speaker. Let's take it out and have a check. So as expected, the speaker does drop straight into this little surround here. The problem is there are some screws supplied with the speaker which don't actually, they're too small to bond with these holes, same with the ones I took out of the front doors. So, but they should screw into this piece here. Now there's no way you're going to get a screwdriver in there unless it's a stubby one, so what we're going to have to do, I think, is remove this one if we can get in. Now we've got 2 Torx screws here at the back, and it looks like the other side is yeah, that's just a push fit, so we'll have to screw it to here and then insert this whole piece back into place. Try again. Okay, even the end of the speaker wire has a plug to stow it in when it's not in use. That's back in place there now. Speaker sits on top. So before we locate our speaker, we're going to put our adapter wires on, just as there isn't a lot of room to do it afterwards. So again, they can only fit one way. Those on there. Those larger ones, for some reason, are not very snug. Smaller ones are fine, quite a nice tight fit, but these ones seem to wobble about a bit. So we're just going to give a little bit of adjustment, just crimp that down. We don't want them falling off afterwards. Push our insulated cap back over the top. There we go, nice and snug. There we go. Right. Back through into location. 4 screws in place. I really do surprise myself sometimes. I know back when I was a kid, if you had having speakers in the back would have been brilliant, but these days I'm not so sure kids will be all that bothered. I mean, most of the time you go anywhere, just have the headphones in anyway. Right, there we go. So now they're back in location, all plugged up. Screw that back down with this Torx screw. Now obviously I can remove the foam insert, but I don't actually have the manufacturer's speaker grills as yet. I am on the hunt for some. So if anyone's got a pair, let me know. Of course I have got the Pioneer grills if I really wanted, but I don't really want to cut a hole in and then put those grills. I really want to try and keep it looking OEM. But I'm not sure, I'm trying to do a bit of research. There are some oval grills that go in the doors on cars with manual wind up windows, and they do look the same shape. They could be the same size. It's the same size speaker, which would have been quite clever on Renault's part, because then it would have been one grill to fit all. So I'm going to crack on. I'm going to do the same at the other side. There's no point me filming that because they're both exactly the same. So we'll get all that done, put everything back in place, and hopefully next time we pick this up I'll be looking at the head unit.